want to pay tribute and thanks to what I call our leaner bikers, and specifically the Harley riders. Now, I'll tell you up front, I don't own a bike. I've ridden a bike a few times, but I'll tell you why this is so important to me. These Harley riders are ones who, the leaner riders I'm talking about. These are the people who gives us the waves. They give us the smiles. And they create leaning moments. And if you've seen another video or other videos, leaning moments are our free antidepressants. The Harley riders are giving us the things that charge our spirit. And when our spirit's charged, that's the first step in being in balance. So I'll share a story with you where I really appreciate the Harley riders. I'm James from the Leaning Institute. And as always, the mission of the Leaning Institute is to recognize leaners, preserve the ones that we have, and foster more leaners. Several years ago, I had a path that I would walk for my exercise and also for my nature spirit charging, where the river ran parallel to a highway that was a very popular road for bikers. And so I can remember several times this happened, but one time in particular, I was walking, I hear the sound of Harleys coming, and I made it a practice though, to wave and create a leaning moment, or try to, because when you create a leaning moment, that means you waving, someone's waving back. So everyone that I saw, I would try to do that. I would try to lean to them and say good morning, or wave. If there was a car going by, I would take a minute to wave. Bikers come by, I would try to wave at everybody. And so I heard this Harley's coming, and I knew it was a group of Harleys. And so when the first one came by, I waved, and Harley riders are kind of unique in how they do things. But they don't wave like this. They put a hand out to the side and kind of lean to you. And the first one did that. And I waved at the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And there was like 10 bikers. And here's how we know when our spirit is fully charged. By the time 10 bikers passed by, and every one of them had created that leaning moment, I waved and they waved back, and all of them from the side. But they were literally with tears on my cheeks. But that's what spirit charging is. That really is. I got 10 antidepressants in a row. You couldn't tell me a thing. I was so charged, and it felt so good to be able to feel that feeling. And so I'm thinking about how many bikers out in the world that don't know probably what they're doing, or maybe some who aren't doing. And so what I'd like to do is recognize the leaners, the leaner bikers, the ones who are doing that. They're doing it all the time. And I think by calling attention to it, they might be able to, be intentional about it. Like, wait a minute, I really am making a difference on this bike. I'm out here waving at people, they're waving back. It's not just a simple thing that has no significance in the world. It's so important, and we've lost that in so many ways. But bikers are still out in the open where we can see them. Like in cars, the windows are tinted. Most of the time we don't see anybody. But since the bikers are out there, and it does charge our spirit. And it makes me feel good just to recall the times that I've done that. Now I'll share a kind of funny story with you. I'm not picking on the BMW riders, but it's kind of, they're different from, say, the Harley riders or some of the more open bike riders, because they're coming in. Usually I would notice them, they would have the helmet on and all the suit on, which is a good safety thing. But most of the time when they waved, it was like one finger like this. It wasn't like that. That's not the same as someone actually leaning out to you. That charges the spirit. And so if we can, I think of all the bikers, it gets excited to me as being the founder of the Leaning Institute. If all the bikers out there would just take that moment when you have that opportunity, or when it's presented to you, if you just wave at someone, even if they're not wave first, like I did, I would wave first, but maybe they could wave first. I remember a story about Sam Walton, who, of course, the founder of Walmart. And he said what he learned as a young man, you always speak first. of all the people that I ever really studied, Sam Walton was a good example of being that leaner. Lean first. And so I just challenge and appreciate you bikers out there that when you see somebody beside the road, especially a child, wave. You know, be safe driving, of course, but a lot of Harleys, they're good riders. They can do this because I've seen them do it many times. And I just think how many times that they've charged my spirit. And I really appreciate it. They also have what I call that positive predictability. That if I see a Harley coming down the road, and if I'm out where I can do it, I can almost know that they're going to create that leaning moment. If you wave at them, the hand's going to come out. Now, I don't know why that is. I don't know why Harley riders are different, say, from other groups, but they will create a leaning moment. If you wave, they'll wave back to you. And so I said before, those waves are really antidepressants. You know, we're living in a time now where there's so many people depressed, there's so many people that are unhappy. You know, the suicide rate, the obesity problem. Really what happened, we got out of balance because we don't have enough leaning moments to charge our spirit. I'll tell you about charging the spirit. A paralegal and I were having a discussion one day, and I was telling her about, you know, people kind of like let's say a pitcher, a vessel. And an empty vessel has nothing to give. But we all like looking at a pitcher that's like overflowing. Even we will lean to a glass that's full. We'll do it. We're like a hummingbird. If that glass is running over, we'll just go to the top of it. Where we learned that, I don't know. But we don't like looking into an empty vessel. And so when our Harley riders, we charge each other's spirit. It's not that they're just charging mine. When they wave, they help fill that vessel. So next time somebody sees me on the trail or even back home, they're like, wow, look at him. He's got the countenance, his face is glowing. You're giving off light. Well, that's the healthy part. That's the part of the Harley riders contributing to not just my spirit charge, but it goes deeper than that. It helps my health. You know, we're not using big words because I don't know that I know that many big words, but we know it's a good thing. You know, we don't have to talk about oxytocin and all these other things or whatever else. We know that that's a good thing when our spirit's charged. Even in a tip jar, studies have shown that if a jar is empty, people don't like to put money into it. But if it's full or got more money in it, they like to do that. So when a person's spirit is charged, we know it. We look at them and it's like, oh, that's pretty neat, because then that person can easily charge our spirit. We're drawn to that. So as I said, what I want to do is take a moment and be thankful and hope all of you Harley riders are here today are riding safe and creating lots of leaning moments. As the founder of the Leaning Institute, I really do appreciate it. And the purpose today is to recognize those wonderful Harley leaners as they ride around and waving to each other and making the world a much, much better place. Thank you, all of you. Be safe.